Welcome to Nan Academy, guys. This is Prabhat. In the last video, I told you guys about religious issues, about right to office. Okay, but when I was telling you about scope and nature, I forgot to tell you the name of the case law. The name of the case law under scope, nature and scope was PM Metropolitan. PM Metropolitan versus MM Marthona. Okay, this is very important case. Okay. And one more thing, I was telling you about rights from the jurisprudence perspective. There was a slip of tongue on the word liability. No, liability is different. It's power. Okay, claim, liberty, power, immunity. Okay. So now let's discuss the case laws through which you will be able to understand as to why a case in which a socio-religious issue is primary is not a suit of civil nature. Why is it considered to be not a suit of civil nature? Okay, the name of the case law is, we will analyze this case law in deep. Okay, the name of the case law is Koil Pillai versus Territorial Commander. Koil Pillai versus Territorial Commander. KOIL, Koil. After studying this case law, we will be able to understand as to why an issue which deals with rituals, rites, are not considered to be a suit of civil nature. This case law will explain the explanation 1 of section 9 as well as explanation 2. Okay? There is a plaintiff, defendant. Okay, the subject matter of the suit is a building which is gifted to the defendant by the plaintiff so that for some religious matter. Okay, this building which belonged to the plaintiff, they gifted this building to the defendant. Defendant was a group named Salvation Army. Okay, and at that time this plaintiff was also a member of the Salvation Army. This transfer was made for the purpose of organizing and conducting prayers, as was practiced by the Christian community of where they lived. There was a community named Sambarv Dakini. In short, we will call it as Sambar. Okay. This community there was this community named Sambarvadakini. This was a Christian community. They used to practice any ritual or something. So in order to organize and conduct prayers, as was practiced by this Christian community, this plaintiff gifted this building to this group named as Salvation Army. Okay. Some of the practices followed by this community was one. There was a kind of a unique baptism practice followed by this community. In this, what they did was they practiced baptism by immersion on personal confession of faith and commemoration of the Lord's death in the breaking of bread on the first day of the week by way of worship in accordance with the practice and rituals adopted world over by Christianity. Okay? This kind of practice followed by this community for baptism, like personal confession of faith, immersion, something, commemoration of Lord's death in the breaking of bread, all these practices were followed by this community. Okay? This plaintiff used to follow this practice. Okay? But what the defendant did is, afterwards, when he got the possession of this building, afterwards, this defendant dissuaded the plaintiff from practicing this. What the defendant said is that we do not practice this kind of ritual. Okay? Plaintiff is saying that this building was gifted in order to practice this ritual followed by Sambarvadakini community. Okay, now the issue here is arising over the practice of ritual. So, such a conduct of the defendant refraining the plaintiff from practicing such ritual followed by this community raised an issue. Okay, he is saying that he gifted Salvation Army this building for this practice only, to follow this practice only. Okay, so a suit was brought up. Plaintiff came up with a suit praying for the relief of declaration that the appellant, not the appellant, that the defendant, plaintiff came up with the suit that this person has a right to worship and follow the rituals and practices of the Christian community of Sambarvadakini in the suit property. Okay? What defendant said? Defendant said that they never practiced such rituals. What they followed was given by general Christianity. Whatever generally was followed in Christianity, they used to follow that. Okay? And said that the army did not practice any such practice of salvation, of baptism. Okay? So the issue which got framed here is whether this suit is maintainable under section 9 or not. If this had been a suit of civil nature, if this had been a civil suit, then this issue wouldn't have arose. Since there is some problem, some religious rites or ceremonies are involved, therefore it is creating a confusion whether this issue is even coming under a suit of civil nature. Is the case primarily dealing with the issue of religion? Is it infringing the plaintiff's right to worship? Because if this would infringe plaintiff's right to worship, which is a legal right, a part of the fundamental right granted by section 20, article 25, then it will create a cause of action. There will arise a cause of action. But is the right to worship being infringed when this defendant is not allowing them to follow this ritual of baptism? This is only the issue of discussion in this case. Okay. What the plaintiff is saying is, what ultimately the plaintiff wants to prove is, in this case, that this suit is not to regulate the religious rites and ceremonies. It is not for this purpose, but to establish a time-honored customary right of worship. Time-honored customary right of worship means whatever has been followed in time immemorial, it want to follow that. Second, the right of an individual to offer worship in a particular form, as is recognized in the civil right. Is it recognized? A right to worship in a particular form. This I will deal in Article 25 in the Constitution. In the last video also I told you, if it is the basic feature without which the religion wouldn't exist, without which the religion wouldn't have come into existence, if such a rite or ritual is an issue or is in question, then it will definitely infringe if not allowed to be followed. It will definitely infringe if not allowed to be followed. What it will infringe? The right to worship. There it will create a civil suit. Okay. But our question here is whether this ritual is a primary question or not in this case. So, this plaintiff in this case relied on few cases. Let us discuss those cases. First is Ugam Singh. Ugam Singh versus Ugam Singh and Mishri Mal versus Kesari Mal. What happened in this case is, there was a temple, okay, that in that temple an idol was kept. In Jain, you know, there are two sects, Digambar and Shwetambar. Digambars were worshipping in that temple, okay. Dispute arose between the Digambars and the Shwetambars. Shwetambars saying that that the temple and the idol has been kept according to their sect, and Digambars are saying that the temple and the temple is constructed and the idol is kept according to their sect. So here the issue was not in this case was not confined to mere rites or rituals, but one which affected the right to worship. Because if Shwetambar were correct, if we assume Shwetambar to be correct, then Digambar doesn't have the right to worship in that temple. And if we assume Digambar to be correct, then Shwetambar doesn't have the right to worship in the temple. Either ways, a legal right, a right to worship is an issue. So this suit, in this case, there was a suit of civil nature. There was a civil suit, because a legal right was involved. Okay, but will this case help the plaintiff in proving their point. Hmm? No, because in this case the only issue was issue related to this baptism, for baptism conducted in that manner. Ritual was an issue. Here the right of worship was an issue. Baptism by immersion on personal confession. This is some kind of ritual followed by this community, Sambal community. Here the question was with relating to right to worship, which is a legal right. Not following this community doesn't hinder plaintiff's right to worship. If defendant is not making him allowing him to follow this in this building, it is not hindering him or hindering him to from his right to worship. He still has the right to worship, irrespective of the fact that he is not able to follow this ritual. But here, if one party is correct, the other party doesn't have the right to worship in the temple. This was an issue, and this was a legal issue. This was a civil suit because here a legal right was involved. Okay? This case didn't help the plaintiff. The defendants do not dispute the right of the plaintiff to offer worship in the building. What they resist is the plaintiff's insistence on the part of the plaintiff that the ritual conducted during worship must be in the particular form. What the defendant is resisting in this case is the plaintiff's insistence on performing this ritual only for baptism. He doesn't want him to follow this ritual for baptism. But he is allowed to practice baptism, to do baptism by any other form, by any other manner. Still he can worship. This is what I mean. Still he can worship. His right to worship is not infringed. Okay? There is one more case on which the plaintiff relied. The name of the case is Sayyid Fanand Ali versus Nasir Beg. In this case, what happened is there was one person from the Shia sect. There is two sects in Muslim, Shia and Sunni. This person was from Shia sect. What he came up with is that he should be allowed to enter into the area. That he should be allowed to enter into the mosque, offer namaz there, and he should be allowed to speak loudly the word Amin. Okay. Court allowed him. Court said that no one should restrain this person or anyone. But when he came with the suit, so no one should restrain this person from entering into the mosque and offering the namaz and from saying the word loudly Amin. But the court didn't give any special reason for allowing him to say the word Amin loudly. Okay. But if, this is my opinion, but if this had been an essential feature of the right to worship of this person, if this had been an essential feature of this right to worship, without which this person wouldn't have been able to offer his namaz, wouldn't have been able to exercise his right to worship. Only in this condition, in this situation only, speaking loudly Amin should be allowed from a legal point of view. But this case also didn't help the plaintiff because there was no ratio given for this namaz thing, for this amin word. Okay. Plaintiff cited this case of Fanan in support of their claim that form of worship is a civil right. Form of worship is a civil right within the purview of section 9. Plaintiff is saying that, see, when he was allowed to use to speak the word amin loudly, it means the court has recognized right to worship with the form of worship. Okay. So here also plaintiff is trying to say that I have the right of worship, but my form of worship is also my legal right, my civil right. What he intends by this form of worship is that performing this ritual with Sambar community practices. But since there was no ratio given for this decision, for reaching this point of speaking loudly, this was not accepted by the court. Okay. In this case, no reason was given as for holding that the utterance of the word amin is not a ritual or form of prayer but a civil right. No reason was given. Okay. Now this is what the plaintiffs said. Now what the defendants relied on. Defendant relied on the legal provisions of law of section 9. Defendant said that the civil courts have no jurisdiction to decide the question of ritual in temple except insofar as decision of such question is incidental to the decision of civil rights. Means if a decision has to be taken on anyone's civil right, and for doing so a question one has to adjudicate on the religious questions also, it is allowed, it should be allowed, but not in the vice versa, but not in the reciprocal, but not in the reverse. Okay. Therefore, in the case of Appudurai Iyengar versus Anangarachadai, Appudurai Iyengar versus Anangarachadai, it was said that a right to worship is a civil right. A right to perform a religious office to which obligations and emoluments are attached is also a civil right. Exactly what I said in the last video for the right to office. That if any honor is related with the office, then only it will be a civil right. And until unless an honor emolument is connected with an office, a suit cannot be filed. Okay. The defendant said that the ritual performed by Sambar community is that the ritual claimed is neither incidental to a question of civil right nor it relates to a religious office to which obligations or emoluments are attached. Simple. Therefore, it is not a suit of civil nature. Now, I would like to tell you the two aspects under section 9 which you should now very thoroughly know. First one, a suit asserting right to an office is a suit of civil nature. Okay? It does not cease to be a suit of civil nature even if the said right depends entirely upon a decision of a question as to religious rites or ceremonies. Okay? Another implication coming from these two aspects is that a pure religious question cannot exist in a civil suit unless and until it is attached with any office. office. Okay? Unless and until it forms the subject matter of a civil suit. Therefore, what the plaintiff came up with is to enforce a ritual simpliciter, simply to enforce a ritual. And what I told just now is that alone a religious rite or ceremony cannot be taken as a civil suit. Alone an honor or privilege cannot be taken as a civil suit unless and until it is attached to any office, or unless and until it is coming under the subject matter of a civil suit in which a primary question is of a civil nature. Okay? Therefore, the point that declaration of religious honor and privileges simpliciter means alone these things will not lie in a civil court, because I just told you issues like these, that is the question as to religious rites or ceremonies which cannot independently of such a right to an office form the subject matter of a civil suit. Okay? It has to come along with a legal right, and this legal right should be the primary question. Therefore, a suit to establish one's right to an office in a temple and to honor and privileges attached to the said office as its remuneration is maintainable in the Supreme Court. But an honor or privileges simpliciter without being attached to any office will not be a suit of civil nature. Why? Because it is purely because then it will be purely a religious matter where no right or liability arises from an agreement. Okay, which could be enforceable in law, because there is no intention to get that agreement enforceable by law. Okay, until and unless the parties agree, to the point that if the duties, whatever they are putting on each other, whatever rights they are getting in the agreement, are not executable under compulsion, there is no intention to come into a legal relationship. Therefore, the law is not recognizing such suit as suit of civil nature. Okay? The question, therefore, these questions as to religious rites or ceremonies cannot independently of such a right. Such a right of what? So, right to property, right to office, form the subject matter of civil court. Independent